Hello and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Today we are going to be continuing to read Animorphs number 12, The Reaction by K.A. Applegate. But before we start, I hope everyone's having a good new year. I think this is the first video I've made released this year. It's been hectic for me. December, I basically had migraines. Then I got a sinus infection from Rev Resner New Year's Eve. And just as I was getting better for that, my grandma passed away. And I went to the funeral. I came back. And so basically for me, January passed by. It was like, I think, a week or two after my grandma's funeral that I finally felt everything was coming back to normal again. So and honestly, when I was uh, making an appointment for my physical therapy for my tendonitis, and I looked, I was like, it's going to be February. Was like I was staring at the calendar for probably over a minute, and I had to explain to another person, my hectic life. So I hope everyone is had a much better start to your New Year's. Now, cheers. And before we start, just a few things. One, for those watching it live, I have a Q&A, and I will be. I never ran one on here, so I don't know exactly how that works, but I will be answering your questions now and again, just making sure it doesn't, ruin the flow. And if I don't answer your questions, probably going to be one time or two. It just, I find it sensitive and I don't want my words being misconstrued. So, or you're an a-hole and I'm not going to bother giving you time. One of those three options, probably. And finally, we have a sponsor for today's video, and that is the book 701 Life Lessons by Honrod. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm terrible with pronunciation at times. And if you would like to learn more about our sponsor and how you could sponsor a future video, wait until the end of this video. So yay. God, I love Animorphs so much. Actually, I thought had a good lighting here. It seems that's not the case. I'm having a little migraine today too. So God, I was like, yeah, this will be fine, and no. Okay, so without further ado, here is chapter 6 of Animorphs number 12, The Reaction by K.A. Applegate. Jake scratched his ear. He grinned sheepishly. Just because I would have done the same thing doesn't make it right. I think Rachel was a real hero, Cassie said. Rachel was brave. Bravery is a great virtue. Marco rolled his eyes at Axe. Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi, for that wisdom. Of course she was a hero. She's always a hero. Rachel can't stop being heroic. Being stupidly brave is like some nervous tick she can't control. But what if someone had caught her morphine on videotape? That wiped the smile off my face. As much as Marco annoyed me, he was right. If someone had taped me, the Yeerks are everywhere. If they'd had evidence I'd morphed crocodile, they would know who and what I was. The Yeerks believe we are a highly trained group of Andalite warriors. If they ever found out we were just human kids, we'd be wiped out before we could blink twice. Okay, well, anyway, Rachel, you were very brave. You were also very lucky. The news reports say you fell into the pit because you were trying to see the kid. Everyone is focused on how amazing it supposedly was that a kid could ride an alligator. Crocodile. The kid's going to be on 5 different talk shows. Great. So I'm the idiot girl who fell into the pit, and the kid is some big hero. Be glad it worked out that well, Jake said. For a moment, I considered mentioning the way I felt sick while morphing the crocodile, but I decided against it. Why give Jake anything else to worry about? Cassie raised her hand. "Uh, Are we done with yelling at Rachel? I have work to do." Jake laughed. "I don't yell," he said. "I'm not anyone's parent." "You tell him, Dad," Marco said. We all laughed, and the tension was broken for about 10 seconds. Till Jake said, "Hey, by the way, Tom said something about how the sharing is going to hire that kid from Powerhouse as a spokesman. That TV show?" Marco said. Huh? That's strange. Well, anyway, I have homework piled up on my desk at home. Plus, I have the new Nintendo game. You know, the one where he stopped talking and just stared at Cassie and me. Probably because Cassie and I were standing there with our mouths hanging open. What's with them? Marco asked Jake. Jake looked mystified. "What is with you two? Jeremy? Jason McCole is going to be endorsing the sharing?" I asked in a wavering voice. "Jeremy Jason McCole?" Cassie echoed in awestruck tones. Jake shrugged. "Yeah, it's too bad, but it's not like anyone cares. He's just some wimpy little actor. I mean, it's not like he's Michael Jordan or Brett Favre," Marco added, "or Wayne Gretzky," Tobias offered. What is an actor?" Axe wondered. "Or anyone else important," Jake concluded. "He's just an actor. I mean, he's a dork." "What is a dork?" Axe asked. "That hair," Tobias said derisively. "I love his hair," Cassie said. "Plus, he's even shorter than I am," Marco said. "The difference being that Jeremy Jason McCole is cute," I said. "He's more than cute," Cassie said. "He is the single cutest boy on the planet. He's an every magazine. I said, teen, YM, 17. Wussy Weekly, Midget Monthly, the New York Times. Marco added, he and Jake exchanged a high five. I ignored Marco. I almost always do. Instead, I made sure Jake was paying attention. And I said, Jake, you're not getting it. About half the girls in our school have a poster of Jeremy Jason McCullough in their bedrooms or in their lockers or both. He is the #1 cute guy in the country. He has like 20 websites just about him. If he endorses the sharing, it would be as if I looked at Cassie for help, as if the entire female cast of Baywatch endorsed something. Cassie supplied, yeah, like that. Jake's smile evaporated. You're saying this actor kid has that kind of influence? He, he has that much power? Marco said. He has Baywatch level power? Yasmin Bleach power? Tobias echoed. Bleeth? Axe echoed. Is that a word? If Jeremy Jason McCall becomes a spokesman for the sharing, they'll be signing up girls like crazy. I said. Then this is serious, Jake said. Yeah, Jake, it is. We have to stop this from happening. Cassie sent me a sly, sidelong glance. Of course, we might have to actually meet Jeremy Jason in order to save him. We have to do our duty, I said. I mean, for a start, we have to find out if he's already a controller. And we'd probably have to meet him to do that. Get close to him. Very close. Absolutely. Mm-mm. The two of you are making me sick, Jake said. And that is the end of chapter 6. I will say that last part where they're Rachel and Cassie are just going get close to him absolutely. I had planned things better, but I was always getting confused while rehearsing, so oh, wasn't the best take. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yay! And look at that nice, happy chapter that ends happily. With with Marco here, he really points out that yeah, you can say, she's a hero and everything. Great, 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 but he's got he's the sort of asshole that you need because he can cut right through the bullshit and go, you're an idiot, and here's why. Here's the 2-hour presentation why. And he's got to very point out, like, Rachel's really heroic, and that can actually be a downside because by morphine, she could have again accidentally revealed the Animorphs to the Yeerks and who the Animorphs actually are. And at this point in the series, there's no real way, nowhere for them to go away safely and live and continue the fight. So yeah, it's basically they're screwed at this point. They don't really have allies. They have the Chi that maybe they could, hide in the basement every now and again, but they're they have their thing about, not killing or harming and shit. So, yeah. There's But anyways, so that was a very smart way to point out. It's like he was going through everyone's talking about what, you know, Jake, I got your back, buddy. And yeah, it's and more about more happy parts of this chapter. The whole Jeremy Jason McCall, and I've forgotten who he's supposed to be based off because it was someone popular in the 90s and I can't remember. I I wasn't really big into real celebrities back, growing up in the 90s. I'm still not, but I tend to find out the most random bits of information. Like I won't even care about subjects like, "Hey," and people for some reason if they're like, "Oh, you like this actor in the movie? Okay, here's parts of his personal life. Do you see what they did?" So yeah. Yeah, great. But so I can't remember that, but I loved reading this part because I sometimes fangirl much harder than I show. Like it's like when Sean Ashmore, who played Jake in the terrible Nickelodeon TV adaptation of Animorphs, was in season 2 of The Boys. Yeah, I fangirled. I was like, "Yay, that's Sean Ashmore, yay!" And then when his character dies, I'm like, "No." I mean, his character was horrible in The Boys, but it was like Sean Ashmore. I don't want to see him die again and again. I had also watched another movie that had Sean Ashmore in it, and one where he was like cameoed for 5 seconds before his face gets cut off. And I need to watch Hatchet 3 now that I'm thinking about it. Never mind. See, this is great. Why it's great when I have a script. I don't derail myself so much. But yeah, so for this video's question, I'm going to end the Q&A. This will remove all questions in the question list. Okay. Better luck next time, maybe. So the question for this video is, who is one of your biggest celebrity crushes? Doesn't have to be like your first celebrity crush, but one where you're like, oh, if this actor is only in the movie for like 2 seconds, I gotta watch this 5-hour film. Oh, something I forgot to bring up while discussing the chapter. I looked up who the guy that Tobias mentioned, and he was a hockey player. And because hockey isn't really too popular in the US, I mean, stereotypically, I saw that Tobias being a loner, like, I don't know any other sports but hockey, so yeah. But, anyways, question again, comment down below with who your biggest celebrity crush is. And remember to like and subscribe because I will be reading the entire Animorphs series. So if you love this level of discussion, if you love my dramatic reading, you're going to want to stay tuned. Also, when I finish playing Disco Elysium, the final cut, I'll be trying to get a review out. I might put it in multiple parts just so it can be easier for me to do. I don't know, but keep also subscribe if you're wondering my opinions on Disco Elysium. And if you've watched this and you're like, hey, this Amor stuff is oh god is like, oh god, awesome. I want to read it myself. Well, if you are on my blog, YouTube, or Patreon, link down below to where you can buy your very own copy of Animorphs number 12, The Reaction by K.A. Applegate. And And it's an Amazon Associates link, so you're paying the creators, and I get a little something from it. I don't believe I'm allowed to tell you how much, the money I make, per sale. So sorry. Also, if you would like to talk Animorphs or anything else with me outside of YouTube, if I, I'm just going to say this now, every link mentioned here is going to be down below if you're watching on YouTube. Great. So if you're wanting to talk to me outside of YouTube, I'm Jashikins on Twitter. Just be aware that the no spoiler rule for Animorphs only applies for these dramatic readings. So please warn me ahead of time. If you don't want any spoilers, just be aware. And if you're a longtime fan and you're like, how can I give Jash money? How can I help her out financially? Well, I have a Patreon. I'm Jashikins on Patreon. So maybe I'll see you over there. And I have a original grimdark superhero reverse harem series called Kafka's Men. Currently, I'm running a free promotion on the first book, and you can pre-order the next book, Fenrir's Whisper, if you want to. That would be great. On Kindle, it is only 99 cents, so yay. Also, of course, all the books in the series are on Kindle Unlimited. And next, I have a Kindle Vella series, Lycan. It's a Minecraft, original series. And so I'm working on the next set of 3 chapters is honestly taking forever. Like I keep on finding delay after delay. It's like, whew. But yeah, I'm working on the next set of chapters. What I do with that is I write 3 chapters, then I edit the 3 chapters, then I release them all at once. So, and now finally, we're talking about today's sponsor, 701 Life Lessons by Hanrod. And I promise to tell you more about it. Are you tired of Actually, before I start reading, I just realized I need to wet my whistle. Are you tired of feeling lost and directionless in life? Discover the powerful life lessons that will transform your perspective and help you achieve your dreams in this inspiring self help book. Life is intricate, profound, and replete with surprises and obstacles. When things occur regularly, life is frequently difficult, frequently perplexing, and occasionally outright deceitful. And as the saying goes, life is not fair, or at the very least, its gifts are not distributed equitably. Sorry, I know that word. I know it's a real word. I've been able to pronounce it before, except for today. Yay! Some people find and realize their aspirations with relative ease, while others strive for a long time, and some never succeed. However, contrary to common assumption, failure is seldom the result of bad breaks, even if a person is born destitute and disliked. Usually, failure is the result of inadequate responses to life's demands. Life is full of valuable lessons and is best to learn them as early as possible. The sooner a person becomes acquainted with what real life entails, the challenges and opportunities, the unique role each person plays, and the dangers of entitlement and self pity, the sooner he or she will learn to handle the challenges, take the initiative to find his or her role, and prevent bad habits from forming, and the more time there will be to achieve the greatest good. This book, along with 701 life quotes, challenges your present perceptions of the wonder and mystery of life and the world. Perspective enables you to comprehend circumstances from other vantage points and to consider alternative opinions, experiences, and points of view. This increases your comprehension and your empathy. It lowers prejudice, judgment, and conflict. This is the premise of the book. The change your perspective towards life's hardships and obstacles and empower your greatest self in this chaotic world. And if that interests you, it's again, links are all down below if you're on the YouTubes, and it's up above if you're watching this on my blog. But yeah, I have a link to where you can buy this book. It's available in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle. And yes, it is on Kindle Unlimited. And listen, if you want to become a sponsor and sponsor another video, l- again, I don't know why I say this again, but link down below to my gig on Fiverr. And there's three packages you can buy. One is the basic, it's just basically a post on my blog. The second is type of package is like this. You sponsor a YouTube video. And the third type is if you want a promotional review of your book. And that only stays on my blog. It doesn't, go off into Amazon or anywhere else. So that's it. My migraine is starting to beat my butt again. It's not really been a problem throughout this video, but right now it's like, doop. Well, that's great. But anyways, I hope you're having a great day, great night, whatever, and you'll have a safe weekend. I don't know if Super Bowl is this weekend or next, and so I guess I can't say a specific date, but I can say I hope your team wins. And I'm aware that everyone's not rooting for the same team, so this should be fun. I don't know sports. I'm sorry. So until next video, goodbye.